Hello and welcome to another FPL Overpaid Over the Bar mini league video. I'm sorry it's been a while since the last one. It was before Christmas and we've had, I don't know, 4 or 5 game weeks since then. I went traveling, I got sick. I just couldn't find the way to fit them in. Um, Cynics among you may say, well, he wasn't doing so well, that's why I didn't do the videos. It's complete lies. But today I'm back, and hopefully in the coming weeks as well, we can get speaking to other players in the mini league if people are available. Uh, but let's see what how the mini league stands first of all. So let's have a look at um, let's have a look at the league first of all. You can see I haven't done this in a while, not properly. Thought I was going to share automatically, couldn't get there. Okay, so. I think you can see that. So we have in the lead Tom Crossland, who is 9 points ahead of Matt Cox, who is 9 points ahead of me. Um, and then Piers is 7 points behind. So that the front four here are sharing a margin of less than 30 points. So it's really, I mean, halfway through the season, a bit more than. This is tight as a gnat's chuff at the moment, as they used to say in Sheffield when I lived there. Um, this is really amazing. Going into mid late January with four players still in it, and actually, given that the meteoric rise of Keith has put him only 70 points behind the leader, that is nowhere near out of the running either. And of course, I mean, any big run by any player behind that as well could put them into the reckoning. So it's all to play for at this point. I mean, we're again, unfortunately, looking at a situation where there is a kind of template involving Salah and Palmer, and Isaac now has joined that. Uh, so let's just find the screen share offering is getting in the way of my tabs. I can't get to the damn. Oh my God. So no, that's not the one I wanted. Let's look at Tom's team. So this is Klopp out, Tom Crossland's team, and you'll see here Mo Salah, Isaac, and Palmer. He also signed Gabriel Jesus, which worked well for a game or two, and now Jesus appears to be knackered. Went off on a stretcher in the last game, and he brought in Luis Diaz, who's disappointed, but could easily pull a haul at any point. Diaz, very unpredictable player. Hall and Robinson are the choice budget defenders, and if you got them in a few weeks ago, you're really doing well. Having Matt Sells in goal um, is a huge advantage. And one of the reasons why I lost my lead at the top was because I didn't have Forest defenders or Chris Wood, and um, Tom has Chris Wood. I'm still not getting in Chris Wood. His fixtures look hard to me. However, who's to say that Forest won't turn Liverpool over? Um, I think that could be a draw at least, given that Forest are at home and they love not having the ball, and Liverpool will have the ball. So, is Salah the obvious captain pick for this week? That's my first question. Um, so let's look at the fixtures. That's the league table. If I could just get this damn sharing bar out the way, I'll just stop sharing for the minute and then share again. Um, Sorry about this. Really, really poor. That's the one I'm wanting. Okay, so here are the Fixtures for this weekend. I mean, we should bear in mind that this Tuesday, Wednesday fixtures are followed quickly by Saturday fixtures as well, and it may be a good idea to look at both those games if you're buying people in, and probably not doing as many transfers as you could. We'll talk about why later. But in both these games, Newcastle have got Wolves at home, and then um, they've got, where are they? Bournemouth at home. So Wolves and Bournemouth at home for Newcastle, absolutely on fire. Isak and Gordon, and possibly Jacob Murphy. Keith has him as well. Uh, all fantastic buys really for this game week. Um, Chelsea got Bournemouth at home, which used to be a good fixture. I'm not sure it is for them. It's not the kind of team they like to play. Um, Chelsea have then got Wolves at home, so Chelsea also in a normal game week would look pretty good for stocking up. But I'm gonna guessing people don't really go for them apart from Palmer right now. I still have Nicholas Jackson, and I'll definitely keep him for those two games. Looking at selling him though, because Nottingham Forest have Southampton at home on Saturday, so it's hard to not have a Forest player for that game. Um, so perhaps I will get rid of Nicholas Jackson if he blanks against Bournemouth. I might just bring in Wood instead. I'm kind of resisting transfers at the moment. Um, Trying to do not my full whack of transfers right now. So captaining captaining Salah against Nottingham Forest when you have Palmer at home to Bournemouth and you have Isak at home to Wolves. I think there's an argument for all three of those. The argument for Salah is that he always returns anyway. Whatever we think, he still goes and does it. Palmer will definitely play 90 minutes against Bournemouth, whereas Isak, on the evidence of recent games, there are slight doubts over his fitness, and the manager may pull him off after 60 or 70 minutes. Um, that's the only doubt over Isak. I think he's probably most likely to score out of those three players in those games. But I think you can go either anyway on those three. Um, I don't even know which one the safest is. I'm not sure Salah is the safest captaincy pick. I mean, in terms of numbers, it maybe he is because people will almost certainly captain him over. I mean, he'll get the most people captaining him. So perhaps Salah is the safety captain. Um, there's the Arsenal Spurs game. Spurs played well in their last game, didn't they? I can't remember who it was against, but they defied the odds um, to do better than people thought. I don't mean the Tamworth game where they almost lost, but the one before that. I'm struggling to remember what it was. Arsenal have looked weak in attack, but this, of course, is the North London derby, and I fancy Arsenal for that. um, Spurs have got terrible defense injury problems. I mean, they really are very unlucky with that. Whatever people think about the manager and the way he's going about it, they have been very unlucky with major key injuries. Although he rushes people back pretty quick, which I don't think has helped. Um, I think Bentancur is the latest one to be injured. But anyway, um, yeah, Brentford Man City is an interesting game. Manchester City got Brentford away, and then on the Sunday they've got Ipswich away. And of course, that would in the old days have meant people piling on Man City. But in the old days, remember those old days, like 5 months ago, 4 months ago. So uh, I mean, if you wanted to make up some ground, you might go for a few. There are a few players there. I mean, Rico Lewis now has pretty much his place guaranteed because Walker's said he's off. I mean, they might buy someone else. Then you've got Pep talking up Savinho, which does appear to be genuine. It seems like he's going to be playing almost every game. Um, if you can afford Erling Haaland, that really isn't a bad move at all. So yeah, there's lots of um, good possibilities. Manchester United have got Southampton at home. I think the most popular transfers in midfield are Gordon and Fernandes. Um, and because of Manchester United's mini recovery in the cup and at Liverpool, people are fancying Bruno now. And I mean, it's, I don't think the last two games. The reason why I don't think the last two games point to a revival for Manchester United is because in both those games they didn't have the ball. I haven't heard this pointed out by anybody on one of the podcasts, so I'm going to make this point now, and I might be proved right, but I might not. They've always been better without the ball, even before Amorim. They've been better when they don't have the ball because they've got players who are able to. I mean, Bruno's a magnificent counter attack player. Um, they've got players that can get the ball forward quickly. Uh, this is exactly the type of game where they could slip up again. Actually, Southampton at home, because they'll have to be creative with the other team. I mean, Southampton don't really defend on mass, but they do a bit more now under the new manager. So I would say hold off on Man United. That's my personal opinion. They got Brighton on Sunday. They got Southampton away tonight, Thursday night. Yeah, recording this on Monday evening, and the game week starts tomorrow evening. So they're playing on Thursday evening at 8 o'clock. They're playing on Sunday at 2 o'clock. That's quite a tight turnaround. Um, at home to Brighton, and I don't. Again with Brighton, I don't think they like playing teams like Brighton. So my feeling is no on Man United, but I could be wrong. In a way, I hope I am wrong, because if Man United's form improves, it will open up fantasy Premier League quite a lot. If they have a couple of assets that are really worth buying, it will make the game better. Players like Ahmad, very good football player in my opinion. Um, but as it stands, teams like Newcastle, Forest, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea are way better options at the moment. Right. Okay. I mentioned Keith. Uh, I mentioned Keith. Look at this. This is Keith's rank, right? Look at game week 8. Keith was 5 million in the world. That's sort of halfway down the whole world. Then in game week 11, he was only 4 million. Okay. And then in the game week 12, 3 million. So he's creeping up there. But then in the last 4 game weeks, he's gone from 2.6 million to 1.1 million. 1.1 million is where you're in a chance of finishing high at the end of the season. So that's an amazing. I think mainly because he tends to favour certain teams because of his preferences, and it teams that he likes, like Forest and Liverpool, have been doing very well this season. So I think he probably needs that to continue. On the other hand, he's made a lot of smart choices this season, and hasn't made as many transfers as usual. Actually, transfers made one, two, three, two, 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 two. Yeah, more than most people make, but not some of his wild abandon transfers that have characterized him as a player in previous years. Okay, um, so it's it's looking really interesting. I want to move on now to the chips. Okay, so I'll just stop sharing there at the minute. So we've got now, of course, the wild card, the second wild card's now available. You might still have the triple captain, you might still have the bench boost, you might still have the free hit, and of course we have the new chip, which is hilariously being called Assman, which is the assistant manager chip, which is a bit different, and people are already slagging it off. I mean, like, wait till you play it and see how it works. Like, we'll see what happens. People take FPL way too seriously. I don't understand. I mean, I do, but not in that way. Like, oh, it's disgraceful. Like, calm the fuck down, man. Um, assistant manager chips works like this. You pick a manager. Um, you get 3 game weeks on this chip where you can't play other chips. So you pick the assistant manager. Say you pick it in game week 24 when there's a double game week. So a double game week has just been announced involving Liverpool playing twice and Everton playing twice. Um, say you decide I'm going to play the assistant manager for 3 game weeks. So you um, have the assistant manager running for those next 3 game weeks. You can't play another chip during those next 3 game weeks. So that is something to bear in mind if you're looking at playing other chips at other points. So if there are other double game weeks or whatever, you want to play another chip, then be careful. If you've played the assistant manager, you won't be able to play them. That's the first thing. Second thing is you can change the manager depending on the depending on the week. So if you start off with Arnie Slot one week, you can change the assistant manager to somebody else the following week. It does mean a transfer. Um, they cost money. You have to be able to afford the manager in the first place, which means coming out of your play budget. So they cost anything up to 1.5 million. The best ones cost 1.5. Um, and they work like this. So you get 6 points for a win, uh, 4 points for a draw, 6 points. Wait, 4 points for a draw, 6 points for a win. But if you if you choose a manager who's managing a team that's playing a team 5 places above them in the league and they win or draw, you get extra points, take 10 points for a win. Extra, so you get 16 points for a win. Or is it 18? Oh, I wish I'd remembered all this properly. So you might want to gamble. Um, you might want to choose a manager that's a bit of an outlier, or one that's just like Potter at West Ham, who just come in and then maybe they'll beat a team that's higher up. Um, Wolves are an unpredictable team. I always think they can always beat anyone on their day. Teams like that, but I mean, I've got no idea what the probabilities are. I will say this: I've seen people saying they're going to wait to play it to game week 34, game week 36. When there are 2 double game weeks, we don't know who's going to be in them. We've got no idea at the minute. It all depends on the League Cup and the FA Cup. We do know that Liverpool have a double game week in 24. Honestly think if you've still got the triple captain, then Salah in game week 24 is an obvious pick. So you wouldn't be picking the assistant manager then. But if you don't, I don't think there's much wrong with the assistant manager in that double game week. Because Liverpool are playing 2 teams they probably will beat. Um, you've got you get it out of the way as well, which is one thing I'm worried about is having it in the bank, getting to game week 28, 9, and then working out how to play it alongside bench boost and free hit because I want to play those in I want to play a bench boost, especially a free hit in a game week where a double game week where there's several clubs involved, and that the most likely big double game week at this point appears to be 36, I think. I mean, it doesn't matter what we say at this point. It'll all become clearer later on. But it's one of the 34 or 36 is going to be the big double game week. Remember that there are much fewer clubs involved in double game weeks projected to be involved than last season and the season before. This is not going to be the carnage that we saw last season in game week 32, I think it was, when some people still had their free hit and scored 150 points. It's not going to be like that. So it will require planning, and a lot of people have said this about the assistant manager chip. It's not. It's going to hurt the casuals. They'll probably like waste it, or confuse it so they get it in the wrong week and then they can't use another one, etc. So look at your chips, what you've got left, and get a general idea now about game week 24 because you've got, what is it, 3 game weeks to get to game week 24, and Liverpool are playing twice. So if you don't already have three Liverpool, or you're looking to get on a slot in for that game week, um, that that is the one to be thinking about. I mean, Everton themselves, you know, 2 games, somebody might pull something off. You might want to get Pickford. You might want to get Mikalenko, who's still super cheap. Um, Actually, I think I might get him in because I mean he doesn't have to play most weeks. He gets the odd clean sheet here and there. Presumably, David Moyes will keep them tight at the back, just like Sean Dyche. Yeah, we've got two new English managers in charge. Um, uh, in Graham Potter, who took over from Lopetegui at West Ham, and David Moyes took over from Sean Dyche. Um, I mean, will there be any change at all in the way they play? I don't know. We'll see. So I would say uh, keep keep looking at this. Don't take your eye off it, because the other thing I would say is that if you've got Isaac, Salah, Palmer, arguably Anthony Gordon or Bruno Fernandes, if you've got these players, Chris Wood, if you got these players, don't worry too much about making a lot of transfers at the minute. Keep transfers in the bank, because you're going to need them later. So I would say, like, up until game week 24, try and work up 2 or 3 free transfers so you're ready for that, um, if you need to be. And I mean, it's looking quite nice at the minute. The wild card, the wild card's in the bank as well for us. I think most of us, if not all of us. So just let's um, have a good time now. Let's have fun with this. Um, like I say, it's still wide open. Uh, I'm looking to do another video quite soon after this one. So hopefully I can get somebody else involved with that. Um, but nice to get back. Nice to get back, and I hope if you haven't given up completely this season, or you're still interested, give the video give the video a like. That's great for me. And have a good Tuesday.